Welcome to God Power Live, where Black women gods come to connect with their likeness and refine their emotions so we can do what we came here to do. Today's topic is you having a hard time pulling the trigger on certain projects. Again, today's topic is, are you having a hard time pulling the trigger on certain topics? I'm here every weekday at 8 a.m. Pacific here on TikTok and here on Facebook. And I want to share a story with you to bring this point home. Before I get into the story, I want to share generally. No, I'll just go straight into the story. So, if you're new to me, my name is Naima, and I am the founder of the Academy for Womanhood. And I've been around for 12 years. I'm an OG in the online space. And I've just created so much success and impact and money with business coaching. I'm a former business coach. I used to be a master sex shame healer. I still am. I just don't market myself as such. And I started off as a general coach back in the day where you didn't have to be so specific and nuanced because the internet wasn't littered with healers and shamans and coaches and content creators and da 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 da. So I've been around a while, and so I have a lot of stories. And one story I want to share is I have so many stories from my time in Paris. Paris was a pivotal, just getting there, so many stories of getting there, but then so much growth happened in Paris. And there's one story that stands out in my mind that relates to today's topic of when you have a hard time pulling a trigger, specifically when you are pioneering. Because as a Black woman God, it's very likely that you're doing something that has either never been done or very few people have done it. Okay. So it's one thing to like start a beauty line, like that's totally socially acceptable, right? It's another thing to be a real estate investor. A ton of people have done that. It's another thing to just be a content creator, right? When you're doing something that's been done and that's socially acceptable, typically the fear is it's a different kind of fear than the fear of being the first. Okay, the fear of being the first, right? And that could even get nuanced too, because maybe you are doing something that's been done before, but maybe you're the first in your family to live a dream, right? Hello to everybody coming in. Hello, hello, hello. So the story is, I was at a place that I know many of you, many of the women who have signed up for the God Power Workshop, or who are just following my content, you have something that you want to take action on. And either you know what the thing is, but you're not taking action, or you have several ideas that you've yet to take action on, or you just haven't, I could say, let yourself, right? That's subjective. You haven't let yourself get clear because sometimes staying in confusion helps give you a reason not to take action. That's a very specific state, right? So this was a time in my career when I was ready to take an action. I just wasn't sure what action to take. The only thing I did know is that it needed to be an up move, not a vertical move, right? So in my mind, particularly at that time, a vertical move was doing like repeating, like rinse and repeat. If I'm doing something that I had already done, right? So that would be a vertical move. And just doing it again, rinse and repeat, right? Which is great. That there's a place for that, right? That's how you develop mastery, right? But in this instance, I knew I was ready for elevation. Like many of you know that you're ready for elevation, right? You're ready for a big move. You're not ready to just get another one, right? You're not ready to just do it again. You're ready for an upward move. And not only that, many of you are looking for great impact. You actually want to do the thing for real now, right? You don't want to just start a business or grow your business. It's not general for you anymore. Now you're like, for example, on the God Power questionnaire, a woman said, um, I want to, she already has a business and she's looking for an upward move in her particular business. Like she has that, at least that much clear, right? And then we could clarify that some more. Another woman is like, I'm a musician and I know that I'm meant to be a musician, but there's these other things that are parallel to being a musician that I know is for me, right? And then another woman is like, what else? Another woman is like, I just know I can't go back to corporate. I got 3 kids. I had been squashing myself for a long time. I was married. I was dying in my marriage. This is what she said. I was dying in my marriage, and nobody could see who I am. And right. And I just know I can't go back to corporate, and I need to figure out my thing to bring my thing forward. Like, that's not crystal clarity, but it's a direction, right? And the real center of what everybody is talking about is they really want to do their signature thing. That's really the core of what everybody is talking about. They want to do their signature thing. They don't want to just do a thing just to do a thing. And so at this time in my career, I was also looking for a like, let's go do the real impactful thing, Naima. Like, that's what was going on in my mind, but I didn't have it clear. Like, what? And when you're stewing, like many of you are stewing, you're like, part of you is called inner friction, where part of you is like, time to go, let's go, elevate. And then another part of you is like, but, 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 okay. So that's the inner friction. And so when you're like on teetering on the edge like that, that even more so helps you not get to clarity because you're so scared. And I remember at the time, for me, it was less about scared and more so about, one, I wasn't talking out loud about what was going on inside. Now, this is how I have my experience with knowing that people can have a lot of people around them. And it doesn't mean that they're being seen, met, understood, heard, loved. I was in high level masterminds. My actual mastermind coach was living in Paris. Like, we would go to her house, and other clients would fly from other countries in Europe to go to her house for masterminds. So I was in a high level mastermind with all these people, right? Who you think are your peeps to go to have these high level conversations. I had girlfriends. They would come into Paris. We would meet each other at different events around the world. The conversations weren't happening. And this is why I keep reiterating, when you are pioneering, when you're doing something that hasn't been done, when you are a Black woman God, and you're truly doing the thing that you're called to do, like truly, like for real, okay? You only can talk to people who actually get it, not people who just love you and they're being kind. You know what I mean? Like your mom, or like your girlfriend who's like, you have what it takes, and just talk to you this general kind of like pumping you up. But people who literally can reflect back to you because they are you. Okay? Someone who is in front of you, they're also a God, and they actually feel what you feel. So they're going to talk to you very differently than your mom or your girlfriend or somebody who's also in a mastermind who's doing whatever it is that they're doing. So this is why I talk so succinctly, and I'm always trying to boil it down to what's the difference between us and everybody else. Like, what really is the division? What is it really? And it's the inner state and how we actually think, like how we for real think when we get soft and we get honest. Because everybody, we know how to lie, we know how to fake it, we know how to pretend, we know how to get along, we know how to appear pleasing. And the whole time we're hungry to really be met in the depths of who we are. And then that not being met, there's a buildup that happens. So this was happening with me in Paris, and I remember this so clear. Man, this season of my life just is so rife with, like, it was such fertile soil, and so much happened, and it is vivid in my memory, even though that was 2017, so it was 6 years ago. And I remember I woke up in the morning, remember I told you the buildup happens when you got so much coming that wants to come up, but you ain't talked about it. You ain't really in it, but you're on the precipice, but you're like, yes, but no, but maybe, but so, but I don't know, but right? And I remember it was like, it swelled up in the morning, and I just got up, literally. I don't even remember if I brushed my teeth and washed my face. You ever be so convicted and moved inside that you don't do your normal morning thing? And I remember I just got up and I put on some clothes and I just start walking. I didn't even know where I was walking. This force was just like, get up, go. And I just get up and I just started walking, literally just walking through the streets of Paris. By the time you knew it, I was in the center of Paris where the mall is. Okay, I was living in Montmartre. So if you know anything about the geography of Paris, Montmartre is like right before you get out of Paris. It's in Paris, but it's on the edge of Paris, and the mall is in the center. You have to walk, like, I don't even know, over 2 miles. I don't even know, but it's a distance. And I was so not even like paying attention to where I was. I was just walking and walking, and I remember like stumping, like, what, and just walking, And then finally, when I got to the center, it's like I put my head up and I looked around like, oh my God, I'm downtown. And I was, what is it? And then it just came just like that. Do the event, go, do this event, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this now. And it was like I had this opening. So, and this is a blessing for me. And I want to, there's two different ways I can talk about this as this relates to where you are right now, those of you watching. So I had this opening, right? Because when the thing comes barreling through you, it gives you an energy. So there, it opens you up in a way that perhaps your will wouldn't help you do. Okay, hear that, right? Because forcing and like willing yourself to do something is a very different energy than like this thing like comes and swells up in you. It basically infuses you and clears the way for you to like, okay, go do that, right? So that's how the event in London came about. Yesterday I talked about how the event in London came about, and I could talk so much more about how even the momentum of what I created up until that point even allowed that to happen. But let me stay here. So for those of you who are on the precipice and you have this swelling up, this swelling up, this swelling up, get out and go move. That's one way you can start to open the way to start to have not only just your will, but to have the force that's within you. Basically, you're harnessing that part of you that's like, yes, but no. I want to go, but I don't know, but yes, but I know I'm made to do it, but what are people going to think? But I can, but let's go. But what? I don't have the money, but I know it's for me. And I know the way will be made. But who about like that? Harnessing that and the energy of that and getting into movement. Like get out of your house, get out of your head, move. I was in the bed this morning just thinking like moving the body makes such a difference, and that's what I'm always doing. So that's one, right? Get out and move when you feel the swelling up, and not just nice little walks, but brisk ones. Like really get and go walk somewhere where you're not worried about people looking at you. Okay. Go in this instance, I didn't even care who was looking, but I know most of y'all still very worried about who looking at you and looking crazy and all that. I remember one time climbing a tree. I didn't give a damn who was looking. A black man was looking at me like, you all right? I climbed a tree because I was like, I needed to see different and my body literally wanted to be up. And so go somewhere where you can walk and you don't have to worry about somebody looking at you, okay? So that's one. Another thing is in my timer here, and I keep saying this. So you either want this or you don't, but it's an option, okay? So I just gave you that one. Another option is come into the God Power Workshop, but only if you are a Black woman God. Please don't come into my workshop if you're not the woman who I describe on the registration page. Just don't, okay? It's really curated for women of our likeness, okay? So that's that. The workshop is going to be so profound. You can do it from home. It's online. It's 9 days. It's interactive. You get to talk. Remember, I talked about when something is brewing in you and you don't get to talk about it with your likeness. It can't even be a man who's a God. It can't, listen, there's a place for that, to talk with a male God. When you are a woman, you have a womb, you have a pussy, you have a whole different operating system. You literally need to be with your likeness, okay? And then there's a place for the male God, okay? So that's the second option. Come into God Power Workshop. You can register right now with the link in my bio. Please read the details on the registration page and watch the video. If that is not you, do not come into my workshop. Don't complete the questionnaire. Just don't. Number three is, and this is something I could elaborate on, but I don't have time for, get into what's the real desire. One of the women who filled out the questionnaire said, I can feel my desire so deeply. I can see it. I know it's for me, but I just can't move. It's like I'm blocked. Get into what is the payoff of the desire. You're looking for the inspiration, the seed that's going to fuel you. What is the payoff? Like, why? So this is where you like, so if I do this, I think it's going to help women do this. Wow. And wow. Just really go there in thought. The alternative to that is think about what it's going to be like if you don't do that. So this is the third option. I gave you one, harness that inner friction to go out and physically move. And basically you call in, opening the way and calling in the clear answer. Number two is, what did I say was number two? Come into God Power Workshop. Number three is this, what's the payoff, right? Whether the payoff is for others or yourself, but it's always a personal payoff. I mean, that's part of what drives you through hard, long days, weeks, months, years. Or what is it going to be like if you don't move? Is your self-respect going to decrease? Is your dick gonna shrivel up? Is your pussy gonna shrivel up? Are you not gonna have self-esteem to go out into the world and do what you need to do? Are you gonna feel like a loser? Are you gonna feel like a fraud? Like, so this is you playing on the dark and the light, the positive and the negative to get yourself to move. You see, there's so many different ways you can play with this, and it's all mental. And this is why I tell you guys to work out regularly, because when you work out and do hard workouts, it develops this. The vanity part is lovely, for sure. Come on, get into it. Yes. However, I care about this first. Because if this ain't together, who gives a shit? You know what I mean? If you can't move around and do what the hell what you need to do and this ain't right, who gives a shit? I don't care how I look. If this ain't going right, you see what I mean? So that's a whole hell of a lot you just got. I look forward to working with you inside the God Power Workshop. I'm here every weekday at 8 a.m. Pacific. If you want to see the replay Facebook every day, come over here to the Facebook business page, Naima Singletary, no, facebook.com/Naima Singletary, #1. All right, Facebook, I'm out of here. Who is that? Hey, April. Take good care, y'all.